Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Welcome, 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 welcome to the Deliberate Millionaire Stream. I am Rosemary Nonny Knight. I am the prosperity minister and a business coach for action-oriented, ambitious, spiritual people determined to thrive, to prosper, to make at least six figures whilst living in their life's purpose. Okay. What I help you with is leaving behind the pain and limiting beliefs of the past and rise victorious in your true design life, a free, fulfilled, financially abundant, a love drenched life. That is yours by divine right if you will claim it. And the things that we do together is to support you in claiming that life. It's a very active, deliberate process. This is why we're called the deliberate millionaires. This is why I say so much of the time, live life deliberately, because I used to live life really passively for a very long time, kind of expecting things to drop into my lap. After all, I knew the divine, right? So everything is supposed to just happen. And actually, this brings me to the three stages of spiritual growth. And that first stage is it's the blissfully unaware. Okay. These are people, and this was who I used to be, people who live completely in the physical reality. Okay. As I say, they're blissfully unaware. So they are reacting to the physical reality all the time. They feel like life is happening to them all of the time. They feel like a victim of forces beyond their control, or whether it's even their deity, their higher power. They feel like a victim of their higher power. Their higher power has all this power and all this authority, which, okay, that they have no control over. So they don't know how, it just feels as though things are happening to them all the time. If life is good, then they are happy, they feel good. They try not to break anything because they're not quite sure how it's all working out, but they try not to break anything because they kind of feel like it's luck or that they're being blessed, but they're not completely sure why they're being blessed or why they're lucky. So they don't want to break anything. But if things are bad in life, they look for external causes. And that was definitely me, always looking out to the physical reality to see what was the problem, whether it was my childhood, whether it was my parents, the way they treated me, whether it's this person or that person or this thing or the other thing, or because I'm black or not because I'm black. All of that stuff, okay? So they're always looking for someone or something to blame. This is the blissfully unaware, okay? They find others who believe the same things that they do. And you kind of see these little cliques forming around people who all think that the same thing out there is the problem of their life, ultimately. So they gather together, they throw stones violently at this person or this thing that is causing their issues, or they band together and worship their chosen deity who might also be the reason that is causing their issues. But they don't say that. They don't say it in that way. They say, like, it's not the divine's will, or, I'm just waiting on divine timing, or, and it's always like this divine being that has all the authority over their existence, okay? And so they band together, they worship their chosen deity, hoping to receive blessings if they praise enough, if they please this unseen being that they're convinced is giving and taking away from them, okay? And that is stage one, the blissfully unaware. And most people stay in this stage forever. It can be a blissfully happy stage if you're lucky or blessed, okay, lucky or blessed. Or it can be absolutely horrible if you're unlucky or you're being punished for some unknown wrong deed. Or in some cases, it can be this whole, it's a continual battle between the forces of evil and the forces of good, okay? And so the forces of evil are always coming against them, and they imagine themselves in this spiritual battle. And I used to be this person as well, praying against the demons all the time. And they can only win with the help of their chosen deity. And a lot of spiritual warfare is in prayer and fasting and giving and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not downplaying all of this stuff, okay? Because prayer, fasting, affirming, tithing, but in their place, they can be helpful. But when you use them as some kind of, I don't know, you're hoping that there's some kind of magic button, they're not useful. And you will know it. But if you're in stage one, most of us in this community, you're not going to be in stage one, but this is where most people start their spiritual growth journey. In that stage one, your whole focus is on the physical reality. And what can you do to manipulate the physical reality? But the problem is because your whole focus is on the physical reality, you keep creating or recreating whatever you're focused on. But you don't realize that you're doing it. You don't realize you have power. You think everything out there, even your deity, has all the power, and you are just this weakling that has to be subject to whatever is going on out there. Okay, that's stage one, blissfully unaware. You don't question anything. You're too scared to question anything in case you end up in hell for all eternity, depending on what your religious upbringing is. Or, you just don't question anything. You forget that the truth stands up to scrutiny. You don't believe it anymore. You never believed it, truth be told. And that was my life. That was my life for a very long time, stage one. And then people wake up, particularly in this community, probably because you wanted to start living in your purpose. You decided you wanted to build a business around doing what you love. And so you wake up. You wake up. It might not be the only thing that causes you to wake up. It might be that you got sick. Or you finally wake one day, you were listening to your spiritual teacher, your pastor, or whatever, and you really had this deep revelation. And you wake up. Okay, this is when people say they're awakening and it all feels so confusing. Blah, blah, blah. But also, apart from all the confusion and all of that happening, there is also this, you discover that you are a heck of a lot more powerful than you gave yourself credit for before. That actually you are created in the image and likeness of the divine, and so you are powerful. That you are one with the divine. You are powerful. You are limitless. Like the same power that created all things lives in you, and you can harness that power. You start to realize this. You start to realize that there is power in your subconscious mind. There's power in the power in the death. But life and death is in the tongue, and all of that stuff. You start to realize this, and you realize that it's an actual real thing. You maybe started reading self-help books as well. You know, or as I say, you got sick, realized you needed to get a heck of a lot more deliberate about your life. Or maybe there's a death in the family and you started looking at your mortality and realizing you haven't done most of the things that you thought you'd have done by now. Ultimately, something wakes you up to the fact that you have a heck of a lot more power than you realized, okay? And so you start to realize that you can create your own reality. And so you start trying harder and harder to be better and better and better at it. You become careful with your words, careful with your thoughts. And you do have some quick wins, which then convinces you then, yeah, of course I am powerful, which you are, okay? And you start your own business, possibly. You no longer want others to tell you what you're worth. You realize you're powerful enough to actually create the dreams inside of your heart. It feels exciting. You plan, you even make a start. It all seems so promising. This is stage two. You're awakened, you're awakened, you're awakened. You feel superior to stage one people, basically. But you're not particularly relaxing to be around, truth be told, okay? Because you notice all the complaining that other people do, you notice all the negativity from other people, and you try to convert them all. You try to convince them that your way is the way and the only way. Ultimately, we've all been around somebody who has just recently had some kind of conversion experience, and they want to tell you all about it. Or someone who's just started a network marketing business, and they want to tell you all about it, right? And sometimes you're just like rolling your eyes, and well, this is what it's like when you're in stage two and you're still excited and everything is so exciting and but then it starts to get a little bit hard. Those easy wins at the beginning when you were just discovering just how easy it is for you to create your own reality. You did some affirming and you had the unexpected income come in and woo! But then it starts getting harder. Things don't work as easily as they did when you just woke up. And you start to wonder what you've done wrong, because now you know that you are responsible for everything in your life, right? And so you find it hard, or you start finding it hard to grow your business, or you start procrastinating on doing the things that you need to do to grow the business, or whatever it is that whatever your big purpose thing is that you wanted to do. And you start finding yourself trapped in this sense of being in limbo, where you know that you create your reality, but you don't seem to be able to create it. You feel powerful, but you can't seem to harness that power. And in fact, if anything, this stage two can feel even more terrible than stage one. It really can, because you know that you have power, but you don't know how to use that power. And in fact, what you did used to do no longer works. And it's just like you're stuck. You're stuck here. And you're trying so hard to get it right. You're trying so hard to correct all your thoughts and to correct all your words. But it feels impossible because you keep trying, and trying, but you can't do anything. And so then you start doing all the clearing work and the healing work, and you're trying everything. You're trying to figure out what has gone wrong. What am I doing wrong? And it's all about you doing something wrong. What you're not realizing is just how much you're blaming and punishing yourself. You don't see that. What you're trying to do is get better. You're trying to fix yourself in order to start, using that power that you have. This is stage two. As I said, it can be even more difficult. And most of you in this community, this is where you're at. This stage two. Okay, you're definitely awake. You know that you're not you. You know it's not just about the physical reality. You know that you and the divine are quite powerful, but you don't know how to actually predictably manifest things. You don't know how to do that. Okay, so but you just have this faith, this deep knowing that things are supposed to be different here. Okay, but it feels hard. It feels quite hard. And so you keep, as I say, you keep doing all of those healing work. You're trying to uncover everything. You're trying to heal everything, because maybe if you just find that magic thing that if you healed it, that will be the thing that will propel you forward and everything will be amazing again. You make things a lot more complicated than they need to be, because you start seeing everything as a spiritual issue, which sometimes it is. Sometimes, because you're so busy looking at what have I done wrong, or what have I done internally wrong, you don't see the simple things you could do physically to make a difference, because all you're focused on is, okay, I need to heal this and I need to clear my childhood and I need to make sure I'm doing that. There's so many spiritual rituals and things. In fact, if anything, a little information, a little knowledge can sometimes be a really bad thing, because you suddenly are really trying to be absolutely perfect in your spiritual walk, that you forget even how to be just a regular person. Again, you're uncomfortable to be around because you think you know everything, because you do know, but you haven't quite learned how to keep it working predictably. Okay. So things that could have taken a short amount of time are taking you a heck of a lot longer, but you don't really see what you're doing. And because you're so caught up in this, trying to create a reality and trying to be perfect, if anything, you're just making you're beating your own self down. Your self-doubt is growing, your self-confidence is reducing. It just feels horrible. It feels like you're struggling to take any ground, and any ground you take, you seem to lose it. This stage 2 is a horrible place to be in. Okay. And you don't want to say it's the divine's fault, because you realize that you are responsible for your own reality, but you can't quite figure out, where have I gone wrong? What have I done? Why is this happening? This is stage 2. You're awakened, but actually you're in a very painful place. And I definitely got to that place, particularly after growing my business. I was so, it was so easy. It was so amazing. 18 months, multi 6 figures. Yeah. Woo, woo, woo. But then things started to break and I couldn't seem to fix them fast enough. And I was just trapped in this place, and I've known the divine forever. And yet I was stuck here. And then there's stage 3, my loves. And this is what I'm helping clients to get to. Stage 3, the practical mystic, or in this community, I call you the deliberate millionaire, the practical mystic. Okay. You are connected to the divine. The thing about stage 2 is that you have become so aware of your power that sometimes you cut out the divine. And also, when you get caught up in that place of pain where you're trying to fix everything and you think you're doing everything wrong and you're trying to fix it all, you think the divine is judging you as well, which is also kind of a bit of before I even get into stage 3, though stage 3 is coming, as I said, in this stage 2, it gets so painful that some people, and I've seen this happen so much in the social media world, where some people who were flying high, suddenly they're back to their religious background. They're back to their, oh my God, yes, it's because I gave up on my religion. That's why life got hard. And now I'm returning to my religion. They return to stage 1. They return to stage 1. Or you break through to stage 3. The practical mystic, the deliberate millionaire, as I say. Okay. So can you see at stage 2, it gets so painful that you either think you're doing everything wrong and you need to go back to stage 1, and it's because you abuse the divine and the divine is punishing you, and so therefore you need to surrender again and be born again, or whatever it is, and you go fully into your religion. Or you realize actually the divine isn't doing anything to you, that it was just a phase you were going through, and you needed to break through to the next level where you are connected to the divine, but a very different way. Very different way. Not many reach this, but it is available to everyone. It's a subtle difference here. It's a stage of surrender. Surrender, not as in stage 1, passive, oh, whatever the divine does to me, I just need to just go along with it. No. It's stage 3. It's an active kind of surrender. And when I talk about surrender, I mean complete, full acceptance of you. Complete, full acceptance of self, your desires. It's like I was brought up Christian, and so there's a verse in that I used to live my life, and I still do actually. I write it at the beginning of all my journals: delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. But I see it so differently from when I was in stage 1. This is when you delight yourself in the inner man, which is you and the divine. Okay, you realize you fall in love with you fall in love with the divine, or more importantly, you allow the divine to love you. You allow the divine to love you. Because the thing about being in stage 2, Or stage one is that you are busy judging yourself and you are busy hiding a lot of yourself from the divine because you do not think you are worthy. And so you're trying to make yourself perfect in order to be worthy of the divine's love. As the practical mystic or the deliberate millionaire, you realize you've always been worthy. However you show up, however you show up, you are freaking worthy. It's about making peace with all that you are and loving yourself completely, because the divine was only shut out because you decided you were not good enough and you needed to hide parts of yourself from the divine. It is definitely a stage that we're all, even I'm still getting familiar with, and I continue to get familiar with, but it's a stage that I'm bringing my clients up to, where we're no longer just struggling, whether it's in the physical. Well, I wouldn't be working with a stage one person. They wouldn't want to work with me anyway, because that's not even where they're thinking. But stage two person will definitely be in the place where they wanted to work with coaches and mentors and all of that. But they will also be beating up on themselves so much that they cannot actually break through to stage three or to get in the manifestation working easily. Because to manifest anything, three key things. There's a few more, but three key things. One, fall in love with the divine. And when I say fall in love with the divine, what I really mean is allow yourself to be loved by the divine. Allow yourself to be loved by the divine. Well, I mean both. Fall in love with the divine and allow the divine to love you. That's number one. Number two, fall in love with yourself. However you show up, the dark, the light, the everything, fall in love with yourself completely. Your desires, active surrender to who you actually are, not who you think you have to be. Okay, this is the practical mystic. The practical mystic recognizes that it's not perfection that brings about manifestation. You do not have to think perfectly all of the time. You do not have to speak perfectly all of the time. You do not have to be the most positive person on the block in order to manifest things. Come on, look at the world as we see it right now. If you're thinking about people who are wealthy, there is a whole mixture of people, and some people do not identify as spiritual at all, okay? But the same rules apply to all of us, spiritual or not. So recognize that it's not about being the bestest, goodest person on the planet, regardless of what your religious upbringing or spiritual upbringing might have been. It's not about that. It literally is about acceptance. It's a self-acceptance. It's about recognizing this is what I want, and I can have what I want. The thing with being spiritual is sometimes you do not allow yourself to want what you want because you are busy judging yourself as greedy or not good enough, or you're supposed to put everybody else first, or whatever it is. All of that stuff that you think makes you more noble, that means you think makes you more worthy or more pleasing to your higher power, actually is cutting you off from the very things you are trying to manifest. Do you start to see? You have to set your inner child free. Your feminine, your masculine need to be free. Your feminine and masculine energy, all of us have them, whether you're male or female, okay? They need to be free. Most of us in this community have pushed down our inner feminine, our inner child. We have told ourselves that we're supposed to, just work hard and just show up. And then we cross over to the other side where we just pray hard and affirm hard and tithe and fast, never eat again, because then we will break through. Except you've tried all of that and it ain't working. Basically, the practical mystic realizes that you do not have to keep playing these games with yourself. Okay? You become deeply connected to the divine and allow the divine to love you exactly the way that you are. Not out of some desperate need to be granted gifts or to prove yourself worthy, but simply because you are worthy, just because. That is who you are. You are divine and you are loved and you are worthy. You are enough just because. And you can create things imperfectly. You can. You feel all the inner tension of trying, you're supposed to be perfect, you're supposed to be this, and you're trying to. But instead of getting distracted by it, you surrender completely to what it is that you desire, which is number 3. It is clarity of purpose and, what's the word? Focusing on your vision, focusing on your goals. Fall in love with the divine, fall in love with yourself, focus on your vision. Be very clear what it is that you want. Because in the meantime, the stage 2 person is busy trying to clear and everything. Stage 3, the practical mystic, is busy just simply focusing on, this is what I want. It doesn't matter how I feel or don't feel. It doesn't matter what I've done or not done. This is what I want. I am going to create it because I am loved. I'm freaking loved. and I deserve every good thing. I just choose to live it. I know that my purpose here on this planet is to enjoy being here on this planet. So I deserve every freaking good thing that enables me to enjoy my life. And so we start to, as a practical mystic, you stop with the self-judgment. You stop with the trying to be something out there, basically thinking that the more good you are, the more blessed you will be. It's a lie. You can see that it's a lie. Look at the world, for goodness sake, it's a lie. If then none of the so-called bad people would ever experience wealth or prosperity. Some bad people, or what spiritual or religious people would judge as bad, are very wealthy and enjoying their life. Basically, why? Because they don't bother judging and judge. They're not bothering judging themselves. They think they're worthy of it, and they went and got it. Simple and short. You recognize as a practical mystic that you are a flawed human being, and so freaking what? Okay, you start to have fun in life again. If you didn't listen to what I talked about a few days ago, I think it was about, letting your childlike free. Please go listen to it. But really, you start to have fun again when you realize all this judgment that you've been judging yourself by, enough. It's just tiring. It's tiring. And it doesn't even get you where you want to go. You realize, as I already said, that your truest purpose is simply to enjoy being here on planet Earth, not to be perfect, not to prepare for the next life, but actually to enjoy the here and now. You realize you can create whatever you want to support that enjoyment. So why would you not? It just seems obvious. You set yourself free to live, to really, truly live. And it is a deeper blissfulness than stage 1, peeps, though it may look similar to what stage 2 is doing, because it doesn't mean that you're not going to do anything. It does mean that most of your energy goes to creating your vision rather than trying to clear everything and trying to be perfect and trying to get everything right. And the problem for most, and this is why I work with spiritual people, is that for most of the time, as a spiritual person, you unfortunately have taken on a whole lot of burden, a huge burden of how perfect you're supposed to be. And you don't even realize that that's how you're living your life now. You don't realize it. And so and this is why I do like the remove the blocks stuff. That's why I wrote the book, the Remove the Blocks. This is why I do the Remove the Blocks intuitive mentoring session, because you don't realize that the very things you think are setting you up to manifest the desires of your heart, the things you're doing are the very things that are keeping you chained and far away from your manifestation. All the rules that you live by, all the dogma that you've taken on and you haven't questioned in God knows how long. My most freeing moments and my most freeing season of life came about when I just went directly to divine and started to ask questions, things that I hadn't questioned. Because as I said, I've known the divine since I can't remember a time that I wasn't walking in some way with the divine, but it was through a religious framework for a very long time. And so I didn't feel unconditionally loved for a very long time. I felt like I had to jump through a heck of a lot of hoops in order to be considered worthy. And I never quite got to that feeling of being worthy all the time until I got to Practical Mystic and realized a lot of what I was doing was actually keeping me from the very things that I desired. A lot of what you are doing is keeping you from the very things you desire. So how does manifestation work? You need to be a practical mystic or a deliberate millionaire, okay? 5 key things. I know I said 3, but 5 key things here. 1, fall in love with the divine, okay? Now for this particular stage, to me, it's the foundation of every freaking thing. Falling in love with the divine, allowing the divine to love you. Now, this is why I have the Evolution membership, okay? So I have a few different memberships, and I'm going to talk you through why I've created those and using this as I've explained this to you. 1, to fall in love with the divine, to come back in touch with the divine. That's why Evolution exists. So every day I sit with the divine, I download messages for the community, that when you come and you receive that, you read it, you take part in the Deliberate Millionaire Daily Ritual, you sit with the divine. And I teach you how to do that. Sit with the divine, read through the message, and ask the divine how this is relevant to you. So you start deepening your connection with the divine again. So a lot of you are stuck in stage 2, and you feel abandoned by the divine, though you don't always want to admit it, okay? Because you're supposed to be holy and you're supposed to be full of faith, but you don't actually feel that way. But because you're busy struggling and working hard to try and be perfect, and it's not freaking working, okay? And we come into Evolution. And this calms your nervous system down. It restores your foundation so that you can manifest the money, the resources you need to live in your purpose. Because you sit down, you listen to the divine each morning. Just, it's even 7 minutes a day. That's what I like to say, because it takes you about 2 minutes to read the divine download. And then you can sit with the divine, even if it's just 5 minutes with your journal, and write out what is the divine saying to you specifically. And you start to develop a deepening relationship with the divine yourself, which is the goal of evolution, as well as you get daily prosperity affirmations to start retraining your mind to know that you are worthy. Okay, so that's the first thing, is falling in love with the divine, or allowing the divine to love you. That's number one. Number two thing for how manifestation works is falling in love with yourself. Falling in love with yourself. Falling in love with your part of falling in love with yourself is that yes, you're going to remove blocks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do the clearing work or the healing work, but I am saying come at it from a place of loving yourself rather than from a place of I am so worm of the earth and need to be punished or something along those lines. And that is usually the lines that spiritual religious people are coming from, and that will keep you cut off from the divine and also keep you cut off from the desires of your heart. So this is where opulence comes in. So I say three things. Yes. So three things. Falling in love with yourself. No, sorry. Fall in love with the divine, evolution. Fall in love with yourself and removing blocks, opulence. Opulence is my next membership that I offer. And this is where you start to completely accept yourself whilst continuing to deepen your connection to the divine. You start to accept yourself. You start to reprogram your way of thinking. So you stop with this whole trying to be perfect thing. You start to realize who you are has always been enough. But it's not enough for me to say that to you. It's not even enough for you to say that because you don't truly completely own and believe it. Okay? And so going through opulence, it's a year-long, at least a year-long thing, where each month you're exposed to a different boot camp, different areas of life, helping you to see things differently, helping you to release old ways of thinking, reprogram your subconscious mind for increased prosperity and wealth and success in all areas of your life. So each month, a new boot camp, just like the first month is all about money mindset. The second month is all about your connection to the divine, because my goodness, as I said already, if that connection to the divine has issues or you have weird beliefs about the divine, you're not going to be able to manifest the things that you desire. You just can't, because ultimately everything you want to manifest, whether it's money, whether it's whatever it is, a holiday, whatever it is, all of it is love, energy, materialized, divine love, energy, materialized. If you are disconnected from the source of divine love, how can you manifest anything? So there you are in stage 2, trying so hard to be perfect, but actually you're putting blocks in your own way because you're telling yourself just how imperfect you are and all of this stuff. And you blocking yourself and you don't realize it. Now, that's what opulence helps you do, is help you see where you've been blocking yourself so you can release that stuff. So as I said, the first one is the money blocks. The second one is making sure that you have no issues with the divine that you're not even aware of having, because you've just taken on certain beliefs about the divine and you're just not questioning them anymore. Or you're too scared to, depending on how you were brought up. Because I know for a long time I would never have been able to question the divine, because I was told that if I do, I'm going to end up in hell, man. And who wants to do that? So you just don't question, basically. And the third month, we're looking at relationships, because that, when I'm working with clients, that is a big one. But not only relationships, we're looking at relationships with other people, but also relationships with yourself. Because as you correct the relationship within yourself, between your feminine and your masculine, it'll be easier to see that reflected in your relationships outside of yourself, right? Okay. So the third boot camp is thriving, where we're looking at your relationships. The fourth boot camp is all about your health and your body. It's all right, that's talking about manifesting the desires of your heart, but if your body breaks down before you can, then nothing works, man. So we look at that as well. We look at making sure that your body is I call it slim, sexy, strong, and healthy. That's the fourth boot camp. And the fifth boot camp is all about business stuff. So getting your business off the ground, or a side hustle off the ground, so you can start making an income or creating generational wealth, doing what you feel called, born, meant to do. And then there's other boot camps. You know, when you come into my world, I'll tell you all about that. But it's a year-long program that really just one boot camp at a time, changing the way you see things, releasing old patterns, coming back to you, coming back to who you are. People sometimes say, oh, but it's a whole year. And then they spend the whole year buying this short program here, short program there, short program there. But then next year, they're still in the same place, still trying very hard because they're still in stage 2, trying very hard to get everything right, but actually nothing's changed. And they're just broker and still nothing's changed. And it's like, yeah, well, 12 months went by. You may as well have just stayed consistent with something all the way through. And the process, Opulence takes you through a process. And then every month we're also having live calls. You and I can answer any questions. And I will also be teaching you. It's what I used to call it the Remove the Blocks program. And I did it as a standalone program, but now I'm doing it as part of Opulence. So every month there's going to be a teaching on all the different elements that I'm talking about here, but going deep into the divine, deep into yourself, deep into what is in your relationships that need to be sorted out. So each month we'll be looking at a different area. Ultimately, your sexuality is another one, pleasure is another one, religion is another one. Looking at that, and on different areas we're going to look at, and also what to do when everything seems to be falling apart. Basically, is definitely another one that we definitely need to look at, because just because you're a practical mystic doesn't mean that life is always going to be perfect. So that's opulence. Okay, so there's evolution. We rebuild the foundations. Opulence, start taking away, removing all the blocks, removing all the stuff, the nonsense, the noise. I call it the noise, the nonsense, and drama that has kept you from your true design life, and set yourself free to thrive, to prosper, to make at least 6 figures whilst living in your purpose. And then I have the affluence thing, because we now want to focus on your vision. So as I said, there's 5 things. Fall in love with the divine, or allow the divine to love you. 2, fall in love with yourself. 3, remove any blocks that are causing you to separate from the divine or separate from yourself. 4, focus on your vision. Be very clear about what it is that you want. Be clear on your purpose, clarity of purpose. This is where Affluence membership comes in. For people who know that they would like to get paid to transform people's lives, who are at that point where they're done with procrastinating on living in their vision. They're ready now to build a business, build a side hustle that makes at least 6 figures, doing what they're called, born, and meant to be doing. That's affluence. So you're getting clear on your purpose, and then you're taking strategic action. Number 5 is taking strategic action. Ooh, look at that. Taking strategic action to ensure that you actually manifest the desires of your heart, because it isn't just about praying and affirming and tithing and giving and doing all of that stuff, which is essential, because as part of evolution, as part of Opulence, you'll be taking part in the Deliberate Millionaire daily ritual. There are internal things that must be done, but there are also practical, physical things that must be done strategically. So can you see, these are the 5 things. So that's where the Affluence membership comes in. In Affluence, it's all about people who are wanting to be in business. I work with people who are wanting to be in business to help them get their service-based business off the ground, making money, all of that stuff, because I teach them strategic ways to get to 6 figures within a year. 5 things, again, to go over them. Fall in love with the divine. Allow the divine to love you. Fall in love with yourself. Stop with the self-judgment. Stop with the self-punishment. Fall in love with you exactly the way that you are, because you are worthy of the best right now. 3, remove any ideas that would keep you separated within yourself or separated from the divine, because you need to be a clear channel for love energy to flow through, so that you can, because everything is created from within. You're planting seeds within as you, number 4, focus on what you desire. As you focus on what you want, get clear on your purpose, get clear on your goals, get clear on what you want, and focus on it. That plants a seed in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like a garden. You're planting that seed in there. But if you are blocked up, and you're disconnected from the divine, then divine love can't flow through, causing the germination, the manifestation of that seed that you've planted within you. Okay? So that's why we do want to remove blocks. But blocks being anything that separates you within yourself, separates you from the divine. Anything. We want to get rid of that stuff. Okay? And that's where Opulence helps you. Deepening your connection to the divine, evolution helps you. And then, now that we're focused on the vision, we're clear on what it is that we want to create, we take strategic, practical action. This is the Practical Mystics way. We take strategic, practical action. This is where Affluence, if you're in my world, that's where that comes in. Where I teach you exactly what to do to transform what you've planted within you, Let's bring it to life with strategic action while staying open to divine love flowing through you, so that you are doing the internal bit, which is to, make you magnetic to the desires of your heart in the practical, but then you're also taking the practical steps. You are a divine being having a human experience, so you must do the divine stuff and the practical stuff. Okay, so 5 things. The 3 stages of spiritual growth, 5 things that make manifestation work. What stage are you in terms of spiritual growth? Are you applying all 5 of those steps for manifestation to work? Listen to this over and over and over again. But more than that, come on to the Deliberate Millionaire Path to Peace and Plenty. You start by getting a copy of the book, Remove the Blocks, or by having a private session with me, a Remove the Blocks intuitive mentoring session. You can find out about either of those things by messaging me, or there's going to be links around the videos on the page, on the profile, whatever. Go have a look. But that's how you get onto the path. But even if you choose not to come onto the Deliberate Millionaire Path, understand you need to be a practical mystic if you are going to experience your manifestations coming to life. And if you don't quite know what that is, then come onto the path, my love. Obviously, your best thinking hasn't got you where you want to go. So you need support. There's no mistake about you listening to me right now talking about this stuff. And we're going to end with the affirmation. Usually I start with an affirmation, but we're going to end with an affirmation here. But let me make that invitation to you. Come onto the path, and then you'll be exposed to evolution, to opulence, to affluence. You will know which one is relevant to you. Or you might start with evolution, upgrade to opulence, and then upgrade to affluence. That is possible too. Whatever you need to do to keep moving forward. Listen, do not let another 12 months go by where you're still unfulfilled and restricted in all the different areas of your life. Enough. You are meant to live a free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love-drenched life, but you are the one to create it. The divine is not withholding or even giving anything to you. You are the one that opens yourself up to it and allows yourself to prosper. It's all available to you if you will allow yourself to prosper. Will you, my love? I've talked you through 3 stages of spiritual growth, 5 steps to make manifest. It's not 5 steps because you don't do it one by one by one. You do them at the same time. So the 5 things that are required for manifestation to work. Are you doing them? Do you understand how to? Could you do with some support? Get a copy of the book, Remove the Blocks, come onto the journey, come onto the pathway. And in my emails, you start to hear about evolution, you start to hear about opulence, you start to hear about affluence, you start to hear about having a private session with me, or you can just go straight to having a private session with me, and I can show you what you specifically need to move forward. Let's end by singing our affirmation. I am the deliberate designer of my life. I am powerful enough to create what I desire. And listen to this over and over again so that you hear, where are you stage-wise? And are you ready to go to your next level? I hope so, because everything you desire is available. I am the deliberate designer of my life. Oh, I am the deliberate designer of my life. I am powerful enough to create what I desire. I'm powerful enough to create what I desire. I'm powerful enough to create what I desire. I am the deliberate designer of my life. You are the deliberate designer of your life. Are you ready to create what you desire? Because it's all available. It's all available. Until the next time, my love, share this with somebody else. Go forth and prosper. Listen repeatedly. Take yourself up to stage 3. You need to be a deliberate millionaire, practical mystic, whichever word makes you feel good. It's time. It's time. You are meant for more. Now you get to create it. Much amazing love. Go forth and prosper. Bye.